Hey, hello, and welcome back, everyone. I am Mary Ricketts, President and CEO of Turning Point Training and Development. And yes, I am a certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team. Welcome to our podcast, Scale Up and Grow. I've had several conversations in the last few weeks that are really talking to those that are still working full time and trying to get their businesses off the ground, whether it's, the real business, the side hustle. It is what they really have a passion and desire to do. I want to talk to you a little bit today about really how to manage your time when you still have a full-time job and a part-time business. What are some great tools that you're going to need to manage your time? Here's why: because managing time wisely and effectively is challenging. It's challenging when those of us that run our own businesses full-time have. So we can only imagine what it is like for so many of you men and women out there that are still doing both until you get the business to the next level. But excellent time management skills are really invaluable, especially when you're trying to manage both the full-time job and a part-time business. And it is a whole nother conversation if you are married, if you have children, if you're caring for other loved ones, and then if you're also involved in other things, community projects, ministry, anything else that your life wants to do. Because if you want the opportunity to experience and enjoy other activities in life, getting your time under control is imperative. It's all about prioritizing, focusing, and being productive rather than just simply being busy. There is a huge difference between being laser focused and productive and simply just being busy. So I have some time management tips that I want to share with you that I hate to use the word guarantee, but it is really going to help you manage your time and spend it a little bit more wisely. So if you don't have a piece of paper, grab one. If you are driving, make sure you come back and listen to this a little bit later. Here's the first one I want to talk about: focus on being productive. You can spend a lot of time actively working, yet really accomplishing nothing. Okay, maybe not nothing, but very little. Being busy is about motion. Being productive is about results. I know that one caught you, didn't it? Let me say it again. Being busy is about motion, right? Being productive is about results. Consider the results that you are likely to see from the course of action that you're going to do. Okay. Are the expected results worth the time? Think of it this way: if I told you that I'm going to pay you $500 an hour, and then you would get $1,000 an hour bonus if you are actually productive, you just might change the way you spend your time throughout the day. Being busy all day and accomplishing nothing should be avoided by everyone, but it's especially important for those who are still working two jobs. When you have the full-time job and then you're trying to build a business, you don't have time to waste. You have to be very strategic about how you're spending your time. And don't get me wrong, those of us that are running our businesses full time, we have the same issue and we have the same things we have to control. But for you to really get to that next step, because most of you are working your business on the side because that's what you really want to do, and that's okay. Let's talk about how else we can help you get there. Drop the multitasking. We used to brag about it as women that we can do 10 things at one time, but guess what? That's not a good thing. The ability to multitask has really been thought of as this, great thing. That's fake. That's not true. Because recent research has shown that multitasking really is a mistake. Some research showed that focusing on one task at a time increases productivity and performance by 100%. Absolutely, by 100%. When we truly focus on one thing at a time. And this can be the difference maker between success and failure if you're juggling a part time business with a full time job. Productivity is everything. I love calling it laser focus. being laser focused on one thing until it's time to move on to something else. If you think about it, that's exactly what we usually are trying to get our children to do or your students to do. Stop trying to do five things at one time. I need you to focus on one thing until it's completed and then move on to something else. So consider using a timer to help you focus. Absolutely. Put a timer on. If it's a timer on your phone, if it's a timer on your laptop, your desktop, it doesn't matter. Consider putting a timer on. If a task should take 25 minutes to complete, use a timer and try to beat the clock. A simple timer can really help you stay focused. There was another article I read years ago. It might have been in Psychology Today, but it was something very similar to that, that really said you really want to focus on something maybe 50 minutes at a time, especially if it's not like a task I need to complete. Let's say that I'm working on prospecting today and I know that I need to prospect for at least 50 minutes. I may give myself a count that I need to do, or I may just time myself. But think of it as something like that. You know what? I need to make these calls. I'm going to make as many as I can in 50 minutes and putting that timer on yourself. Here's another tip. Here's number 3 for you. Have a new list of objectives to do each day. I know we've talked about to-do lists in the past. I like them. They're necessary, but there's some other things I think you can identify with that, and that's called priorities. Priorities and needs because they change day to day. Start each day with a new list or priorities. Any items that are incomplete can be moved to tomorrow's list, but only if they're still priorities. That could be a little tricky, right? But only if there's still priorities. If I keep moving something, there's a reason. One, am I procrastinating about it and it's the tough thing that I really don't want to do? Or maybe it's really not a priority and I really don't need to put it on the list at all. If you find it helpful, have a list of things to do before lunch and after lunch. So breaking up the day like this can really make things seem a little bit more manageable for you. So think about it that way. Is it before lunch or after lunch? Do I need to take care of the tough things first thing in the morning, or do I want my afternoon to be a little bit easier? However you need to work that, but think about that. That might be a great opportunity to try for you. Create the list the night before. You won't waste time in the morning trying to plan out your day. You might also find some elegant solutions to your challenges if you have the opportunity to sleep on them. That's kind of old school. I can remember that from some Dale Carnegie and Franklin Covey training years ago. Think about what you want to accomplish the next day before you end your day. So if I'm working, an 8 to 5 job, I may really want to say, I need to take this last 30 minutes or 20 minutes and really plan out what I want to accomplish the next day. Here's number 4. Make a real effort to eliminate distractions or interruptions. There's always something else that needs your attention. However, you'll get more done if you can stick to the important tasks before allowing other things to grab your attention. Think about that. There are times when you may need to take your cell phone out of the room. You may need to turn off the alarms that you have set. So think about what it is that distracts you throughout the day. There's actually a process that I use for some of my coaching clients that really talks about, what are your time wasters so that you can identify them and then think about how you can address them. Some of us are like, it's the phone, whether it's children calling or, family members calling or anyone calling. There comes a time where it's like, I really want to be focused for about an hour. I can turn my phone off. I can turn my phone off. It might be okay to do that. So you might want to spend the first 2 hours of each morning working on the most important tasks of the day before opening your email or listening to your messages. Yeah. And for some of us, it's a new day before we hop on social media, even if it's our business pages. Maybe we may want to take those first 2 hours every morning, knock out the most important tasks that you have before you do all of that. Here's another tip I want to give you. Make decisions with the time expenditure in mind. Here's what I mean by that. Working full time and running a part time business requires focusing on the time required by certain activities. So, quick decision making skills are really vital when you're trying to juggle both things. Many times, the second or third best solution is really the best solution if it saves time. Sometimes a good quick solution is better than the best solution that is complicated and too time consuming to implement. So think about that. How much time are you really spending? And are you getting stuck? One of my coaching clients mentioned this the other. Are you getting stuck in perfection zone? Be careful with that. Is it a good decision? Does it have to be the most perfect, most excellent decision? Or is it a good decision? Because you can save yourself some time by keeping it simple and not making it too complicated and too time consuming. Here is the last one I want to share with you. You ready for this one? Delegate. Delegate whenever possible, whether it's at the job or the business. Delegate as much as you can. Do you insist on doing too much yourself? Do you insist on doing too much yourself? Are you the only person that can really get that task, that one thing done? Attempt to release some control and get all the help that you can. There are great solutions and tools and freelancers out there. As soon as you realize in your budget that you can offload, maybe it's social media marketing, maybe it's simple administrative tasks, you can look at getting a virtual assistant to help you even while you are working the full time and building your business. So building your part-time business so that it can become the full-time. There are things that you really may want to take some of your dollars, hire someone to do it, and think about what you would do with that additional time. Delegation is key. And of course, I'm thinking delegation in many cases means you may be able to hire someone to take on some of those tasks for you. Don't be afraid to do that. I can remember one of my financial advisors that I worked with for several years. I remember him sharing with me when he made the big move to actually hire an executive assistant, because he always kept, well, I can do all that myself. Why should I pay someone? But guess what? When he did it, it released his time to go after new business and work on new clients. So think about that, because managing a full-time job and a part-time business is challenging, but many people are able to manage both successfully, and you can too. Focus on the most important tasks, minimize the distractions around you, and let others help you. You'll get more done in less time with greater results. That's all I have for you today. I am Mary Ricketts with Turning Point Training and Development. This is our podcast, Scale Up and Grow. If you have not done so, stop, like it, share it. Check out all of our YouTube videos. Make sure you go back and listen to the previous podcast. We want to make an impact across the globe. Make sure you share this with us. If you haven't connected with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, if you haven't reached out to have a one-on-one with me, do so. We look forward to talking to you soon. Make it an absolute fabulous day.